Squid Game Season 3 was full of hidden details and crazy twists, so much so that it's certain there's something you missed. In this video, we'll break them all down, so be sure to subscribe and let's get into it. The third season concludes with a newborn baby winning the 45.6 billion won prize, triumphing over 456 other players, including its own mother and father. However, what transpires after the games is what truly captivates viewers. Cate Blanchett, known for her role as Hela in Thor Ragnarok, appears as a new recruiter, revealing that Season 3 is not the end, but rather the beginning of something much larger and more sinister. Her character is actively recruiting players for the US version of Squid Game, her appearing to be focused around Los Angeles, where many Americans are struggling to make a living and drowning in education and spending-related debt. A major detail from Season 1 now comes into sharp focus. When Gi-hun learned that his daughter, Ga-young, was moving with her well-off stepdad to Los Angeles, it was not a random decision for the story. This has now become a big setup, a massive clue that the games would eventually expand there and may even tie into his daughter's storyline as an adult. The plot thickens further with the heavy revelation that Cate Blanchett's character knows the frontman. Lee Byung, the actor behind the character, gave an interview on The Tonight Show which hinted that the rumored frontman spin-off is actually happening, just a matter of weeks before we learn that the USA Squid Games will be filming in December this year. This timing creates the very strong possibility that he could become the US frontman, extending his influence beyond Korea and adding more depth to his character. To understand how these events unfolded, we need to rewind to the beginning of the season. The story begins by resolving many of the lingering questions from Season 2, particularly after the failed rebellion. Many believed Player 246 had died, but he was instead saved by Guard 11, No Yeol, who single-handedly dismantled the entire organ trafficking group to protect him. Gi-hun is sent back to the games after the frontman brutally murders his best friend Jung-bae in cold blood. Once again, a vote is initiated, and the game ultimately continues. Meanwhile, outside the games, Mr. Choi begins to suspect Captain Park of being a traitor. This suspicion arises after he observes Captain Park holding a screwdriver on the night the drone operator was killed. Mr. Choi attempts to warn Detective Jun-ho, but Jun-ho dismisses his concerns, refusing to believe him. As this tension escalates, the games progress to the fourth challenge, hide and seek. This is not a typical hide and seek game, however. Before it begins, players are instructed to draw a gumball from a machine, red or blue. Blue designates a hider, while red signifies a hunter. The crucial twist is that roles can be swapped. This is how Junhee and Gwemja exchange vests with Myunggi MG Coin and Young-sik, completely altering the game's events before it even starts. Just imagine how things would have turned out if the swapping of roles wasn't allowed. Some storylines would end much sooner. The chaos fully erupts in Episode 2 after the teams are divided. Players are dropped into a massive, nightmarish maze. Blue players must hide, and red players must hunt. This is more than just hide and seek. It's a war. Amidst this, Gi-hun is singularly focused on killing Dae-ho. He believes Dae-ho betrayed the rebellion, and that his cowardice led to the deaths of their allies, including his last close friend. Gi-hun is not hunting for survival, but for hot-blooded revenge. Throughout this arc, he doesn't say a single word. This highlights the devilish feeling that overcame him, unable to speak or even think about anything but bloodshed. This kind of detail from the director really adds to the contrast of Gi-hun between Seasons 1 and 3. In a dark corner of this chaotic maze, Junhee gives birth, delivering a baby inside this deadly game. Protecting her, Hyunju, player 120, emerges as an absolute warrior. She goes into full beast mode, eliminating 2 red players in brutal hand-to-hand combat and even discovering the maze's exit. The writing focused on showing her as a force to be reckoned with, one who could easily have protected the group until the very end of the game. But it was a form of hidden foreshadowing, as tragedy was just about to strike. Just as she is about to escape alive, she turns back, refusing to abandon Gwemja and Junhee, who were defenseless without her help. This leads to the most heartbreaking moment of the season. Hyunju is killed by Myunggi, MG Coin, the father of the newborn she was protecting, in a tragic misunderstanding that was entirely avoidable. That death deeply impacted fans and left them shattered. Meanwhile, Gi-hun finally corners Dae-ho and kills him in a savage personal act. Myunggi, fueled by the infamous Thanos pills, takes down the shaman lady in a fit of rage. However, Young-sik finds himself unable to kill anyone in time. In a twisted turn, he attempts to kill Junhee and the baby, since he was running out of time, but his own mother, Gwemja, intervenes, sacrificing her son to stop him from taking an innocent and harmless life. Just like that, Young-sik is eliminated, with his mother breaking down and begging the guards to stop. This single game decimates the player count, leaving only 25 survivors behind. Episode 3 opens with another vote, and this one is particularly painful. Gwemja, completely shattered after witnessing her own son die in the maze, pleads with the remaining players to end the game. However, no one listens. Her desperation transforms into heartbreak, and she delivers the most powerful speech in the entire franchise directly to Gi-hun. She assures him that the deaths in the failed rebellion were not his fault and that he was there to save them, that he was doing something good and right. She then implores him to care for Junhee and the baby and to protect them with his life. The next morning, she is found dead, a fate mirroring player 069 in Season 1. Outside of the games, Mr. Choi breaks into Captain Park's house in search of proof. He finds it, a photograph of Captain Park standing with the salesman and the frontman, along with a pink guard suit, confirming Park was once a square guard in the games. The full backstory is not revealed this season, but a history between Park, In-ho, and the salesman is clearly hinted at and will likely unfold in the Frontman spin-off if it is released, giving us a detailed explanation of how the once respected detective In-ho turned into a killer. Before Mr. Choi can leak any information, however, he is arrested and charged with trespassing and killing Park's dogs. Back inside the arena, Game 5 begins, a jump rope game with a terrifying setup. The rope swings violently, and no one dares to go first. That is, until Min-soo, once again high on those infinity pills, throws Namgyo's pill locket onto the bridge, forcing him to step up to reclaim it. Namgyu goes first and seems to be able to make it until he's unable to cope with the discovery of the locket being empty. His addiction causes him to lose focus and fall to his death as the jump rope knocks him off. Chaos then erupts. Gi-hun crosses next, carrying the baby, barely making it. In the midst of the madness, he attempts to go back for Junhee, but time runs out. Junhee then makes the ultimate sacrifice, eliminating herself so her child can live. She transfers her player number, 222, to her newborn daughter, who officially becomes a player. A chilling but touching moment showing the love a mother has for her child. Following this, 9 players make it to the final stage, including the newborn baby, now officially player 222. Some players, like player 100, player 336, and player 353, object to the baby being counted as a finalist, arguing it would reduce their prize money. However, their protests are ignored. This shows the true depravity of the organization, willing to allow an infant unable to act for itself to enter a deadly tournament where it will almost certainly be targeted. The finalists are then provided with tuxedos and treated to the classic VIP dinner before the last game, a tradition orchestrated by the frontman. As a hint, they are informed that instead of playing a regular game, they will choose who to eliminate. At least 3 players must be eliminated in this process. However, just before the final game begins, the frontman summons Gi-hun to his private room. He offers Gi-hun a way out, handing him a knife and instructing him to kill all the other players, take the money, and leave with the baby. A flashback reveals In-ho's past, where he too was given a knife by Oh Il-nam before his final game. This scene suggests that Oh Il-nam may have offered In-ho the frontman position at that moment, and now In-ho is making a similar offer to Gi-hun. Similar to how the contestants enter the games without full knowledge, this could have been how the organization recruits a new frontman, by offering a way to win, but at the cost of never living a full life again. However, Gi-hun is not like In-ho. While In-ho believes humanity is inherently greedy and evil, Gi-hun still holds onto his faith in people, at least to some extent. This fundamental difference is what sets them apart. Because of this, Gi-hun refuses to kill the other players, choosing instead to confront them in the final game, regardless of how twisted they have become, showing that he still doesn't see himself as superior to them. This decision solidifies all 9 players as official finalists. Meanwhile, on the outside, Guard 11, No EUL, and player 246 attempt to escape the island by boat. However, an officer guard threatens to kill player 246's daughter unless they return. Guard 11 turns back, fights the officer guard, kills him, and then destroys the archive room, burning all the files about players and guards stored in the island's library. At the same time, Junho finds player 246, who finally reveals the island's location to him. Then, the final game begins, an upgraded aerial version of the original Squid Game. There are 3 massive pillars, a circle, a square, and a triangle, once again showing the designer's fascination with turning innocent shapes into deadly things. To move from one pillar to another, players must eliminate someone to open a bridge. The last person left on the final pillar is declared the winner. After all the chaos, it comes down to Gi-hun, Myung-gi, MG Coin, and the newborn baby on the last pillar. One of them must be eliminated. Myung-gi threatens to drop the baby to win. After a brutal struggle, he is eliminated, though it technically does not count because the game had not officially started yet. Then, in the most emotional moment of the season, Gi-hun sacrifices himself, allowing the baby to win. His final words resonate deeply. "We are not horses, we are humans." This is a callback to not only Gi-hun's awful addiction to race betting, which is what got him in the horrific games in the first place, but also the frontman's dialogue where he describes the contestants as being less than human. They are subjects for the entertainment of the wealthy, like horses on a betting course, not humans to be cared for and loved. The games conclude with the newborn baby as the victor. In the aftermath, the frontman evacuates the island, knowing his brother Junho is closing in. He blows up the island, destroying all the evidence. That is how the main story arc ends. But like we said, this is not the end of the franchise. A full-blown US version of Squid Game is on the way, with Cate Blanchett stepping in as the mysterious American recruiter. After the child wins the game, the frontman, In-ho, hands over the baby and the prize money to Junho to take care of them. In-ho also gives Gi-hun's belongings and prize money to his daughter, Ga-young, finally closing Gi-hun's arc forever. But there's still more we need to explore when it comes to the hidden hints. The VIPs were a really interesting presence in this season too, since they aren't just passive observers, they are an integral part of the game's twisted ecosystem, representing the elite who derive entertainment from the suffering of others. Their fancy atmosphere and environment, a hexagon table set for a lavish dinner, clearly contrast with the dark reality of the players' poverty-driven lives. During the dinner before the final game, 5 VIPs are seen at a table with the frontman. A British man in a lion mask, the Lion VIP, is particularly vocal, congratulating the frontman on the game's progression. Their conversation reveals that the guards themselves were VIPs, hunting down the last players, indicating a deeper, more active role in the games than previously imagined. The Eagle VIP, recognizable by a long-haired eagle mask, is shown to be drunk and makes an impulsive bet on player 222, the baby, for the final game, hoping she can become a superhero. This highlights their detached and purely entertainment-driven perspective, seeing the players as nothing more than pawns in a morbid game. The VIPs are particularly amused by the voting process, finding it fascinating how players choose to vote against the majority, especially when it involves their own survival and prize money. They mock player 149's emotional plea to end the games, finding her despair to be a source of entertainment rather than concern. Their careless, sadistic nature is further demonstrated when they discuss eliminating the baby from the final round, viewing it as a mere technicality rather than a moral issue. The frontman, however, finds the idea of the baby remaining in the game interesting for the vote, suggesting his own enjoyment of the spectacle over strict adherence to rules. Or maybe it's a glimmer of humanity from Inho under the frontman persona, trying to ensure the kid has at least some chance of making it out alive, even if it's a small one. The VIP's discussions reveal their bets on the players, openly talking about who they expect to be eliminated next, and the increasing prize money per person. Their enjoyment of the violence and suffering is sickening, as seen when the Eagle VIP is shocked but thrilled by player 96's violent actions during the jump rope game. They celebrate the frontman's accurate predictions, further solidifying their childish amusement from this horrifying show. One of the most intriguing hidden details of Squid Game Season 3 is the writing on the walls in the player dormitories. In Season 2, these letters spelled out Hodi mihi kras tibi, which is Latin for today me, tomorrow you. This phrase has been a subject of much discussion among fans and journalists alike. It was even featured in promotional materials, like the premiere in Seoul. This Latin phrase carries multiple layers of meaning within the context of Squid Game. On one level, it represents the inescapable mortality of the contestants in the games. The phrase can be interpreted as, today I will die, and tomorrow you will die, highlighting the brutal inevitability of death for nearly all participants. Every player, regardless of their current status, faces the constant threat of elimination, and their turn could come at any moment. Even when they take the life of another, their own fate is not certain. This grim message serves as a constant psychological pressure point on the players, reminding them that their survival is only temporary and their fate could quickly turn. Another interpretation relates to the show's critique of wealth and economic disparity, which lies at the core of the story. Today I am rich, and tomorrow you will be rich, reflects the sentiment of being a temporarily embarrassed millionaire. This idea perfectly aligns with the show's theme, where the immense prize money offers a fleeting glimpse of a different life, only to be snatched away by the deadly reality of the games. The players are, in a sense, promised a future of wealth that is constantly just out of reach, or attainable only through the suffering of others. This highlights the cynical view of the rich, who believe the poor person who makes it to the end is merely temporarily embarrassed and will eventually achieve wealth, justifying the system. In Season 3, during the final voting process, the wall is fully revealed to display Diem mihi kras tibi, meaning give me the day, tomorrow it's yours. This is a very interesting and mysterious addition, seeming to play into the idea of sacrifice. It's something we see a lot in this season. One person giving their life so that another can live, only for them to die later. The constant presence and subtle evolution of these messages on the walls add a deeper, philosophical meaning to the brutal games, making viewers reflect on the inherent human conditions of greed, mortality, and power, themes that the director obsessed over when writing the show. A chilling detail appears in Episode 5 when No EUL, while navigating the frontman's quarters, discovers a fake doll of player 001, Oh Il Nam, complete with his VIP outfit. This discovery is profoundly significant for several reasons. Firstly, it serves as a stark reminder of Oh Il Nam's true identity as the mastermind behind the Squid Game. For much of the first season, he was perceived as a frail old man, just another vulnerable contestant. The revelation of his status as the host and his enjoyment of the games from a privileged position was a major twist that still leaves a mark on fans. This doll, positioned in the frontman's private area, suggests a reverence or continuation of Oh Il Nam's legacy within the organization. It's an unsettling tribute to the founder of this deadly enterprise, hinting at the enduring influence of his twisted vision. Secondly, the presence of Oh Il Nam's VIP outfit on the doll further emphasizes his dual role. He was not just the creator, but also a participant, albeit one with a guaranteed safety net. This doll highlights the performative aspect of his involvement, suggesting that even his participation was a calculated part of the spectacle for himself and other VIPs. It blurs the line between victim and perpetrator, reminding viewers that appearances in Squid Game are often deceiving and that the most harmless-looking individuals can be the most dangerous. Thirdly, for No UL. Stumbling upon this doll in the frontman's private space could be a shocking realization of the depth of the conspiracy she is fighting against. It connects the current frontman directly to the original mastermind, reinforcing the idea that the games are a deeply entrenched, well-established operation with a clear hierarchy and history, all of which serve to create pain and torture for innocent people. It signifies that the frontman is not just running the games, but continuing a tradition set by Oh Il-nam, suggesting a lineage of sinister intent. The doll serves as a revolting link to the past, reminding viewers of the origins of the games and the twisted minds behind them. It underscores the psychological horror side of the series, where even the seemingly innocent or vulnerable can harbor the darkest intentions. This detail is a powerful callback to Season 1, deepening the lore of Squid Game and providing a visual representation of its enduring evil legacy. The ending scenes provide a clear roadmap for the franchise's future, signaling a massive global expansion of the games. The most significant indication of this is the introduction of Cate Blanchett as a new recruiter, actively finding players in Los Angeles. Her presence alone confirms that the games are no longer confined to South Korea, but are now a worldwide phenomenon. The fact that such a well-known actress is used obviously hints at the USA series, but it also gives us hope that we'll see a full web of spin-offs in different countries, since we saw more VIPs from different locations this time, even including another gender. The post-credit scene shows the female recruiter playing Dakchi on the streets of Los Angeles, in the same manner as the original salesman in Season 1. This direct parallel signifies the continuity of the recruitment process and the global reach of the organization. The implication is that the scale and scope of the games are about to escalate dramatically, and that things are never as straightforward as they seem. The final scenes also bring closure to some vital character arcs from Season 2, while opening doors for others to continue in dedicated material. In-ho hands over the winning baby, player 222, and the prize money to Junho, suggesting a form of paternal responsibility or perhaps a calculated move to keep Junho entangled in the game's world, just at a distance. He also delivers Gi-hun's belongings and prize money to Gi-hun's daughter, Ga-young, seemingly concluding Gi-hun's journey with the games. However, given the nature of Squid Game, it is unlikely that any character truly escapes its influence, hinting at potential future involvement even for those seemingly free. The destruction of the island by the frontman as Junho closes in signifies a deliberate attempt to erase evidence and move operations abroad as the VIPs flee. This act ensures that the specific Korean location of the games is wiped clean, paving the way for the new US operation to take center stage. The burning of the archive room by No EL also further obliterates records, making it harder for authorities to trace the past, creating a clean slate for the game's global expansion. All of this comes together to set up peaceful lives for anybody who managed to get out of Season 3 alive, but will have the effect of a double-edged sword by also allowing the organization to cover their tracks and secretly open new operations worldwide, continuing their evil in a way that nobody can truly stop. So this has been a full breakdown of Squid Game's final act and all of its hidden details and references. What did you think of the season? Did it live up to the hype or fail completely? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, drop it a like, and if you want to see more Squid Game content and theories, click the video on screen now.